Once you've got your scrim tapes up, you can now fix your Catnic plasterboard beads to all of your external corners. I'm going to do this one by eye, so I'm quite simply, because I'm doing the outside bead, I'm going to hold the bead in position, place the position that I want to cut with my finger. I'm now cutting into the open side of the bead, and I'm going to put a very slight angle on it, falling backwards. Cut the face of the bead, not around the corner of it, then turn the bead towards you and cut the opposite side before breaking the bead by going backwards and forwards, and the bead will simply fall away. I do the same on the bottom edge of the bead. Now this angle isn't to create a mitre, neither is it to create a spear. We just quite simply need the bead to fall away on that solid edge, because it's only the bullnose part of the bead that remains visible once it's plastered. So if you can imagine the scenario, this bead needs to make contact with the ceiling and have a small gap at the bottom. Any gap at the bottom, remember there's going to be a minimum of a 2-inch skirting board fitted, so that is going to cover any gap that may remain. Had I attempted to cut that bead with a straight cut, the likelihood is I'm going to be slightly high on the back edge of the solid. So when I go to position the bead, the back edge of the bead is going to hit the ceiling before the front edge. So it's going to hold it down from the ceiling. So as I mentioned before, that slight slant enables you to position the bead so as it's making contact with the ceiling. Plasterboard only requires a 2-coat skim to a thickness of 2 mil. So these beads need to be fitted nice and tight onto the external corners. In this instance, we're going to fit them using plasterboard tacks, and Catnic have very nicely put some holes in their beads, which we can use as a guide for putting our nails in. Don't ever use screws to fix your beads. The head of the screw tends to sit proud of the face of the bead. You can damage your trowel on it, and it can also show through your work. Nail down one side first before you then nail down the opposite side. Now don't put your nail in the same position as the previous one, because they're going to clash. So just stagger them slightly. Just check that you've got no movement in the bead, and that bead is now secure and ready for plastering.